quiet morning in the heart of the African savannah, where the golden grass swayed gently under the rising sun, a small lion cub took his first uncertain breath. He was born not with a roar that shook the plains, but with a fragile cry that many barely noticed, a cry that seemed too soft for a land ruled by strength and dominance. From the moment his eyes opened, it was clear this cub was different. He wasn't bigger, stronger, or faster. He was smaller, weaker, and quieter. His legs trembled every time he tried to stand, while the other cubs pushed forward with confidence. His body lagged behind a world that had no patience for weakness. Even his own pride looked at him with silent doubt, because in the wild, no one waits for you to catch up. Survival belongs only to those who can fight for it. But this cub, this tiny life, carried something invisible within him, something no size could measure, something the savannah itself would one day remember. While the other cubs learned to pounce and wrestle, this little lion learned something else entirely. He learned pain. He learned fear. He learned what it meant to be underestimated, mocked, and ignored. Yet even in the shadows where doubt lived, his eyes burned with quiet determination. He was always watching, always learning, absorbing every movement of the world around him. He listened to the whispers of the wind and the distant roars of stronger lions, committing them to memory. Where his body failed him, his heart refused to surrender. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, and still the world tested him relentlessly. Scavengers circled closer, hunger pressed harder, storms came without mercy. Each challenge carved deeper lines into his spirit, shaping him not into a reckless fighter, but into a thinker, a survivor. He learned when to advance and when to wait. He understood that courage doesn't always roar, sometimes it waits patiently for the right moment. And that moment came one unforgiving evening when the sky turned red, and danger crept into the pride's territory. A pack of hyenas descended like shadows, their laughter echoing in the darkness, sensing weakness, sensing opportunity. Panic spread through the pride as chaos erupted. Mothers shielded their cubs and roars of fury echoed into the night. In that moment, when fear ruled the savannah, the smallest lion faced the biggest choice of his life. While the stronger lions charged blindly into the fray, he saw what others didn't. He saw a narrow path through the tall grass, a chance not to fight, but to save. With trembling legs and a pounding heart, the cub acted. He guided the younger, terrified cubs toward safety, using his small size to slip through unnoticed gaps in the chaos. He created distractions with sudden movements, drawing the predator's attention away from the vulnerable, risking everything without anyone noticing. When the dust finally settled and dawn broke across the plains, the pride stood stunned. They were weary and battered, but they were alive, and they slowly began to realize that something had changed forever. The weakest cub was no longer hiding, no longer silent. He had survived the impossible, not through brute force, but through courage, intelligence, and heart. As the seasons passed, the savannah began to whisper his story. The tale of how the smallest lion adapted, how his strength grew not just in muscle but in spirit. His scars, once symbols of weakness, became badges of survival. And when he finally stood all under the blazing African sun, his growing mane catching the wind, his eyes steady and fearless, the wild itself seemed to pause. This was not the lion anyone expected. This was the lion who proved that greatness is not born in size, but forged in struggle. That true strength is not about who roars the loudest, but who stands firm when everything says you should fall. From that day forward, when the ground trembled with his roar, it carried a message far beyond fear. It carried hope. It was a reminder, etched into the very soul of the savannah, that even the smallest can rise, even the weakest can lead, and sometimes, the lion that shocks the wild is the one no one believed in at all. This story reminds us that our circumstances don't define our destiny. The challenges we face can become the very source of our greatest strengths. What society might see as a disadvantage, being quieter, more observant, or less physically imposing, can cultivate a different kind of power, a power of insight, strategy, and resilience. It's the quiet courage that sees the path no one else does. It's the inner fire that burns, brightest when the world is at its darkest. Think about the times you've been underestimated. Did it break you, or did it ignite something within you? Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to adapt, to become stronger in a way that sheer force never can. Our little lion didn't try to be like the others. He embraced who he was and used his unique qualities to his advantage. He turned his perceived weaknesses into his most formidable weapons. He teaches us that leadership isn't always about being at the front of the charge. Sometimes, It's about protecting the vulnerable, thinking 3 steps ahead, and having the courage to choose a different path. His legacy wasn't built on the number of battles he won, but on the number of lives he saved and the hope he inspired. So, the next time you feel small, overlooked, or insignificant, remember the lion cub. Remember that the world is not always won by the loudest roar, but by the heart that refuses to be silenced. Your unique journey, your struggles, and your quiet determination are forging you into something extraordinary. Your moment will come, and when it does, your roar will echo with the strength of a survivor, a leader, a testament to the power that was inside you all along. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Let us know in the comments what strength you've discovered in your own challenges. Until next time, stay strong and keep believing in the power within you.